I truly believe that ladybug was my mom visiting me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for telling me about the ladybug. It likely saved my husband's life.
For generations, women were shamed for trusting themselves, sensing things before they happen, and believing in their own power. No one encouraged them to embrace it until now. Welcome to Trust Yourself.
Hi, I'm Elise, but my sister calls me Sissy.
And I'm her sister, Heidi.
And we're your favorite psychic sisters, here to teach you to trust your own innate abilities, because we all have them. And today's episode is proof. Today is another listener story episode, and it's all about intuitive gifts, psychic moments, seeing spirits, knowing things before they happen. We're talking about the moments that make us all say, okay, wait, how did I know that? Or that shouldn't have happened. And these are stories from everyday people, not Teresa Caputo, okay? Not Tyler Henry, Hollywood psychics. These are from your mom, your auntie, your best friend, your boss, regular people. I'm sure these stories will probably remind you of moments that something very similar may have happened to you. But I know a lot of us just brush these off as, just a coincidence. So today, let's channel our inner Stranger Things and say, nothing is a coincidence. Oh, sorry, Heidi. I forgot you don't watch popular TV shows until like decades later.
I know.
So
I'll probably watch it in about 5 more years.
I was going to say, you'll understand this in a decade or so.
Yeah, I'm always late to the game on popular TV shows, but that's okay.
That's okay. But nothing is a coincidence.
I agree with that. I agree with that statement.
Yeah. And I know we say this all the time, but I really do feel like more and more people, more women are waking up. More people are questioning the old narrative that says that's crazy or that's your imagination, that maybe it's actually your intuition. And I think the more we share these stories, the more we normalize intuition as something that's not evil or scary. And the more we normalize it, the less people feel alone. So hopefully we make an impact today.
Yes. And if it triggers a memory in you and you want to send it in, please feel free to do so.
Please do. We love these. We absolutely love these stories. And also, when we dismiss our intuition, we are really disconnecting from ourselves. But when we honor it, we build self-trust. We make better decisions. We feel less crazy and more powerful.
All good things.
Yes.
All good things.
And obviously, that's what we're here to talk about. First, we're going to start with Heidi and I telling our own stories that might have happened this week. Like, we're going to call it our psychic sister tea. And then after that, we're going to follow up with our listeners' stories.
So grab your tea and let's get cozy. And we're going to tell you our stories.
Okay. Heidi, do you want to share your psychic sister tea first?
I will share, and I'm going to say this might be hard for me, but I'm going to work through it. So if you don't know, I have an elderly dog, and he is just on his last few days. And so last night I was just hanging out with him, and I was talking to him, and I was like, what is going to be your sign, buddy? Like, what is your sign? Because I know you're going to be around me all the time. What's going to be your sign? And immediately I saw a flash of a paw print in my head. And I was kind of annoyed, honestly. like that's so
Murdoch.
cliche, Murdoch. It's so cliche. What do you mean just a paw print? But I also do have a paw print tattoo behind my left ear with an M inside of it just for Murdoch. And I got it from when he was like a puppy. It's not his paw print, but it's just like the symbol. But I was like, okay, maybe, I don't know, but let's think of something else. But then like a few minutes after that, I get on Instagram and I'm just scrolling, and this video comes up where it's just like literally all these adorable videos of the most cutest paw prints ever. Like a cat leaving a little paw print or a dog leaving the most perfect paw print. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is going to be our sign. Maybe I'll be walking along and I'll just see like a single paw print somewhere and I can think about him. So that was kind of my little intuitive moment. I'm sure I've had more, but I've been kind of energetically drained lately just with all of this going on and preparing for our move to Ireland, which is also very exciting. But yeah, it just feels like welcome to the year of the fire horse.
Yeah.
We are moving. We are moving. So
although I will say, when you told me that story, like right as you were telling me when you said you asked for a sign, I don't know if I blurted it out or I just thought it out loud. It's like, oh, a paw print. And you're like, oh, yes. Okay. Confirmed.
it always does help to have somebody almost confirm your own mental images sometimes. And I'm very lucky that I have Sissy because I feel like we're very much on the same wavelength. And we'll pull out the same random things
Yep.
all the time.
All the time. Yeah. I bet mom and dad just get annoyed for like, we just give each other a look and they're like, what? How did you know that?
How do you know? Exactly.
But Murdy Turdy. Well,
Murd.
I'm glad he's going to give you some signs, and I'm excited to keep seeing them all over.
I'm very excited too. And it doesn't make it easier. No. I feel like literally today I was in my bed and I couldn't get myself to take a shower. And I was like, oh, this is what depression feels like. I get it now. Yeah. So,
well, he's your first baby.
Finishing. He is my first baby, and it's going to be rough, but I also know very, very much know it is time. He is 13 and a half, which is the oldest boxer I personally know of. And he has survived his cancer for the last year and has been doing really well, and just until recently. So it's okay. It's all meant to be how it was meant to be. But man, that dog has been my rock since I was 21 years young.
Young and dumb. No, I'm kidding.
Very young and dumb. But he was the best decision I ever made. The best $50 decision I ever made. He was a poor little backyard breeder, and I'm pretty sure everyone was like, that dog's going to have issues. He was only $50. And I'm like, hey, he's still going strong.
The fact that a 21-year-old had $50, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Well, it broke up because it was like $25 was his like holding fee. So I had to literally wire $25 to Kansas when I was in Nebraska. And then I gave him another $25 when I picked him up. And it was great. In this creepy guy's house with all the puppies in like a kiddie pool in his bedroom. And there was like no doors in the house. It was all just like sheets.
What?
You know, it was a little sketchy, but it's fine. I went with another human. It was fine.
Thank God.
Yeah, that was weird. But hey, I got a best buddy out of it.
Well, the good news about like our work doing what we do, we know that Murdy is going to still be with you after all of this. And guiding you all along the way. So,
and I have wonderful, amazing friends like Ursina, who is an animal communicator now. So if I'm ever feeling really down in the dumps, I'm gonna reach out to you, Ursina.
Yeah, Ursina was on our podcast earlier last year, talking about animal communication. So if you haven't checked that out yet, go back. I don't remember what number it is, but we can link it in the show notes.
But go listen. You'll find it. It's one of our most popular episodes too, of just, learning how to communicate with your animals.
Well,
all right, Sissy, what was yours?
Well, my psychic sister T is not as exciting because I don't really have an answer for it yet, but it was one of those really weird moments. This just happened this week. I woke up one morning still in that liminal space, that time
I love liminal space messages.
Yeah, still super connected. And Sean, my husband, was already up getting dressed, and I just roll over and I'm like, JD Salinger. And he's like, what? I'm like, Sean, what was that book that JD Salinger wrote? Catcher in the Rye? And he's like, yeah, I think. Why are you talking about that? I'm like, I don't know, but I think it's important. JD Salinger, don't let me forget that. And he's like, okay, whatever. At least he's used to these weird things by now.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
Day goes on, and later around lunchtime, I take my break for lunch like I do.
Good job.
I know I didn't used to do that when I was an architect. I would always skip because I'm just so busy, but I actually take my time now. But I like to detach from the world a little bit by watching Gilmore Girls.
I love it. And I'm still, see, look, we're still watching the shows from decades ago.
Yeah,
and they're still great.
That is true. And actually, to be fair, I didn't watch Gilmore Girls when it was popular. So no hard feelings, Heidi.
There you go.
But in this episode, I shit you not, I'm sitting there watching it. Lorelai is the mom, Rory's the daughter, and they have these fast quips back and forth. They're just like, blah, blah, blah,
they're
blah,
so
blah, blah, blah.
brilliant. Their wit and their freaking humor is the best.
Sean absolutely hates it. He's like, I can't keep up. They're talking too fast. This
Really?
is so annoying.
Oh my
He hates it.
gosh. Oh, Shawnee.
But there was one part where Rory just says, oh yeah, like J.D. Salinger, blah, 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 keeps going. And I'm like, what? What is it with J.D. Salinger and today? Because I've probably heard of or talked about J.D. Salinger as many times as I have fingers on one hand.
Yeah.
So less than 5 times. And it was just bizarre. But because I've been training myself to notice these coincidences, I don't think they're just coincidences. Synchronicities, thank you. Synchronicities. I don't think it was a coincidence. And I'm still trying to figure out what exactly it was telling me. But I did text you, Heidi, afterwards, and you were like, let's figure this out. And I think we came to the realization, though, that it was, well, Catcher in the Rye was about a boy that was walking through life, kind of alone and looking at things very differently than everyone else. And he saw like the adult world as being fake and difficult. And he just kind of wanted to stay a kid forever. And I feel like I was looking at everything with so much angst that crazy shit is happening in our world. And I am seeing through the bullshit that people are like, oh no, it's fine. Everything's fine. No, it's not. I think it was just a nudge for me to be like, it's okay to see things that other people don't see, but don't stay stuck in Neverland.
Don't stay stuck in Neverland.
But I also am not still sure about that either. So if you listener have any thoughts as to what that could be, please write in. Let me know, because we're still deciphering things.
What does J.D. Salinger mean to you?
Yes. Yes.
Also, does he have any other books? Also, I for sure never read Catcher in the Rye. I know we were supposed to, but I didn't do a lot of the supposed to readings when I was in high school or elementary or any of the grades.
Well, I did read it, and I still forgot everything about it. A lot of those books that we were forced to read, it was like, do it as quick as you can, take the test, and as soon as you're done with the test, it's like, whoop, it's gone.
Yeah. I remember more of the ones where like the teacher read it to you instead of the ones that we were assigned. Like I remember, I think I was in some sort of elementary grade, don't remember which one, but like Where the Red Fern Grows was one of the ones that also it was about dogs. So I'm like obsessed with it. But yeah, those were one of the ones that I could remember if they were read to me. It's probably an ADHD problem where I was just like, I can't just sit and read a book that I'm being forced to read. Yeah. So if these things happen to us, it's probably most likely happening to you too. And as you can see from our stories, they're not like, oh my gosh, crazy. You could tell somebody's middle name by not even meeting them. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't insane, but there's a range, and I think it's exciting. So we love it when you write in your stories too. And let's jump in, Heidi, to what some of our listeners are saying. Okay. This one's really fun because the subject line was the book that fell on my head.
I love it.
And this is from Elizabeth from Massachusetts. She writes, love the show. I have a trust yourself moment that felt like a movie. I've been struggling with a health issue that doctors couldn't pin down. I was frustrated and felt like I was losing my mind. I was in the library looking for a cookbook, completely unrelated, when a book from the shelf above me just slid out and hit me on the shoulder. It was a memoir by a woman with a rare autoimmune disorder I'd never heard of. I started reading it right there on the floor. Her symptoms were a carbon copy of mine, so I took the book to my specialist, insisted on the specific blood panel mentioned in the text, and I got my diagnosis.
Well, hell yes.
Right? The logical explanation is that the shelf was tilted. The trust yourself explanation, my body knew what it needed and manipulated gravity to get my attention, or my spirit guide said it.
Yeah.
I'm going with the latter.
I love that.
Like imagining this, I'm also imagining just like your body just like energetically attracting it. It's like, this is what I need.
Yeah.
It just like pulls it off the shelf.
Knowing me, I would probably be like, oh my God, there's a ghost in here. Where is it? And I wouldn't even pick up the book. I'd be like, let's get out our ghost hunting equipment.
Yeah. Quickly open your EMF on your phone. Yes. And that actually does track for you. I think you would agree. You're like, I'm not touching it. So your spirit guides wouldn't do that for you.
No, exactly.
It would do something else. It would be like, make your eye look right here instead. There's like a little butterfly or something that just like lands a piece of dust.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm very skeptic, so my spirit guides have to get super creative.
Good thing is your spirit guides understand you as an individual,
Yeah.
everybody. So it's like, oh, if this will get your attention, this is what we can do.
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like they're very clever, those spirit guides.
Okay, I am going to read one that is called The Dream That Came True. It's from Steph in New Mexico. About a month ago, I fell into this incredibly heavy, vivid sleep. You know, those dreams that feel more real than your actual life. I wasn't just watching my dream, I was there. I dreamt it. I was standing in a room filled with soft golden light, and my best friend, Sarah, was standing in front of me. She didn't say a word, but she handed me a tiny hand-knit green sweater, which was newborn size. I could feel the wool between my fingers. It felt so real. Then I woke up right around 3 a.m. Always 3 a.m.
Always 3 a.m.
Now, for some context, Sarah and I talk every day, but she has never mentioned wanting kids. In fact, we both have been very career first for years. My logical brain said, well, this is just a weird dream. Don't be a freak. But the nudge was loud and it felt like it was vibrating in my chest. So at work the next morning, I text her, hey, I had this crazy dream. I think you were pregnant last night. And I jokingly said, can I be the godmother?
Oh, man.
My phone started ringing 3 seconds later. I picked up and all I heard was Sarah sobbing. She had taken a test at 11 o'clock last night, the night before, and she hadn't even told her husband yet because she was still in shock. She told me, I was sitting there wondering how I was going to tell people, and then my phone lit up with your name and your text. I feel like our souls are constantly gossiping behind our backs. There's no other explanation. I totally believe it.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh.
It's cute.
Oh, that was adorable. I also felt like I was about to cry. I've been very on the edge of crying
bet.
just constantly lately. I'm like, oh, wait,
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry. Oh, that was awesome.
I love that it was a green sweater too, not like a blue or pink. So
Yeah.
who knows what's it gonna be?
And green is the heart
Yeah.
chakra. So it was just like a little love symbol. I love it.
Sweet.
All right. So this one is from Lisa from Florida. And she sent me first a picture of her holding a ladybug.
Yes.
So she says, I just had to share this with you all. Last Monday, I shared the picture above with this ladybug because it kept showing up on our screen door. I took her off and put her on a leaf, but she showed up again on the screen door on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I wasn't home Friday morning to see if she came back, but my son came over and knocked on the door. When his dad didn't answer, he went inside and found him unresponsive and barely breathing. Turns out he had 2 strokes and was having seizures. If he hadn't found my husband, we would have lost him.
Wow.
He's recovering in ICU now and will likely be okay, but it's going to take a while. Anyway, back to the ladybug. I truly believe that ladybug was my mom visiting me. She's the only ladybug we've ever seen there, and our son has been crazy busy working, so he hadn't been over in a week. He says something told him to stop by. It was probably mom calling him there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for telling me about the ladybug. It likely saved my husband's life.
Oh.
And that was something that I had done a reading for her previously. And I said that ladybugs were her symbols of her past loved ones, which obviously was probably her mom.
Yeah.
So that was a very interesting story too. Thank you so
love
much,
that.
Lisa.
And I think that was the reading we did together, right, Heidi? For
Yes,
Lisa,
yes.
and her sister was in the room too, right?
Yeah, that's
I
right.
remember that reading, and I remember getting this very vivid picture of Grease, the movie Grease. And all I said was, okay, your mom or one of your family members is showing me the Grease movie and they're saying Summer Nights. And I just remember her face going, oh my gosh, we just
they
had
both
a
kinda lost
party.
it.
We just had a party and the theme of the party was called Summer Nights, and they had it in her mom's house or her mom's room or something. And I think that
wasn't
was
she
just
Sandy?
Yeah, I think
I remember
so.
somebody was dressed up as Sandy from Grease and
Yeah.
that's so cool.
I just think of those moments as like, that's really just your loved ones saying, hey, I was there. I see you. I'm still with you. I know what you're doing. Oh, that sounded creepy.
I know what you're doing. I see you in the shower.
Anyway, I think it's great. I think
it.
it's fun. But
It's so good.
yeah, cool. I'm glad Lisa wrote in. That's awesome.
Me too. All right. Do you have one?
Yes, I have another one
Okay.
from, this one's fun, from Suzanne, who's in Connecticut. And this is called, her subject to the email was called The Wrong Turn, but wrong turn was in quotes.
Got it.
She said, hey, longtime listener here. Also, I love that, or longtime listeners, because we're almost here. We've almost been doing this for a year now.
Oh my God. It's going to be so awesome having our 1-year anniversary.
I know.
I can't believe it. That's wild.
She goes, thanks for making us all feel like your third sister. I've been practicing the nudge with small things like trying a different grocery store when it felt like I needed to. But last week was next level. I was driving to a high-stakes job interview, one I desperately needed. My GPS told me to turn left, but I saw a hawk land on the sign pointing to the right. And I shit you not, I heard in my head, turn right now. It sounded scary, but I felt weirdly calm. I argued with myself for a few seconds if I should do it or keep going to my interview. And then I looked at the clock. It was 4:44. I took that as a sign to do it. I told myself I'd turn around after 2 minutes if it didn't feel right anymore. So I turned right. Then, shortly after, I ended up stuck in a dead-end residential street. What the heck, universe? But
faulty GPS, universe.
But I saw an old woman struggling with a collapsed fence and a dog that was running around free in the yard. I jumped out quick to help her. I grabbed the dog before he bolted, and she was so grateful. It turns out she lives alone and there were no other neighbors for miles. I ended up being there exactly when she needed me. And I was also in time for my interview with a feeling of pride and confidence in my chest. I nailed the interview and I got the job. It all worked out. I'm choosing to believe that the hawk was her spirit guide and also my personal career consultant. Thank you, ladies, for reading these stories. I absolutely love it.
Wow. That's so cute. I also, as you're reading that, I just felt like the hawk was like her late husband too. I don't know. I just felt like it was like somebody was like, help, she needs help.
Yeah. I've heard stories, a lot of stories about that. Like somebody feeling like, oh, I'm going to go, they were going on a walk. Actually, this was from one of my friends when I was practicing my intuition. And he told a story about how he heard in his head, he needs to turn right when he was normally going straight home. And when he went right, he saw an elderly man that slipped and fell on the ice and needed help. So trust those nudges, guys. They could help you or somebody else.
Intuition saves lives.
It does. Buy our t-shirt. Oh, we don't have it yet, but it's coming.
It's coming. We've got merch coming, by the way. Side note, get excited.
Yes. All right. Do you have another one?
Okay. I have this last one. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is Ori Ann. I hope I'm saying her name right. Aurie. Ori?
Ooh, that's a cool name.
I think I
Sorry,
love
guys.
it. It's like Lori, but with no L.
Names. Also, I get called Elsie all the time, so I get it. I hate it. I'm sorry if we butcher your names.
Yes, I apologize. She's from Texas, and she says, I grew up with some herbology in my life taught to me by my mother. As a kid, though, I didn't appreciate it, and I never embraced it. Then a few years ago, I had gone through a bad divorce, gained a bunch of weight and that wouldn't budge, and was just generally pretty unhappy. I started researching natural remedies, and in doing so, learned a lot more about my family history that was full of witches and healers.
Ooh.
Then I was totally in. LOL. Girl, same. I would totally be in. I found out my grandfather, who migrated from England, was a geologist, and when they settled in Idaho, he befriended the Bannock tribe and learned of the local medicinal plants and was considered the doctor in the area.
Hell yeah.
I researched schools and programs and found one that really resonated with me and dove in headfirst. The dream is to leave the hospital, she's a nurse, by the way, and buy a house that's set up for being a herb hut and just do what I want to do, not what I have to do for a change.
Yeah.
See, and this is another reminder that those stories, it doesn't have to be complete yet, but it's like, wow, this nudge or this thing brought me to learn all this stuff about my family, and it broadened my horizons. And now I have this new like challenge / dream that I want to go towards. So we want to hear all of this, whether it is a psychic nudge or something like this. It doesn't really matter, as long as it's something that it just kind of changed and shifted something inside of you where you felt a little nudge to just trust yourself. That's what we want to hear.
Hey. Okay. My last one is from Lindsay from the Pacific Northwest. And the title is My Late Grandma is Definitely DJing My Life.
Ooh. I love
really,
this DJ grandma.
I know that spirits can manipulate music so well. Yeah, it's like that's their specialty. So I believe it
because it's just energy. It feels like it's like one of the easy things, like flickering lights or something, you know, like it's kind of easy to manipulate. But continue. I want to hear this DJing grandma story.
Lindsay says, "Hi, I wanted to share a synchro story that felt like a hug from the other side. My grandmother passed away last year, and her favorite song was the Chattanooga Choo Choo by Glenn Miller Band." Yes. 1940s.
I don't even know that.
It's the 1940s.
Okay.
I think it was 1940s. Yeah. Like jazz band. It's so cute.
All right.
But she goes, I haven't heard it in public much at all. Yes. And yesterday was the anniversary of her passing. And I was feeling incredibly lost about whether to stay or leave my current relationship. I asked out loud in my car, "Gran, if I'm supposed to move on and leave this dude, give me a sign." I feel like if you're asking it, you should probably leave.
Yeah,
but I'm not.
That's usually a good rule to follow.
But it's always nice to get signs from Gran. So
it is.
Then she says, I walked into a dive bar and the jukebox was in the corner. The second I sat down, the jukebox switched to its next song, and it was the Chattanooga Choo Choo.
Of course it was.
Playing at full volume. There was no one near the machine to change it. That's just what it changed to. So I am choosing to believe it was her telling me to stop settling, and I packed my bags that night.
Telling her to choo-choo on out of there.
Choo-choo. Bye-bye.
The train has left the station.
Yes. I love these. So I love how different the stories are too, but it's all really telling you just really trusting yourself and trust your intuition. Stop dismissing these random things as just coincidences. Yeah. And also, maybe it's important to just start tracking these intuitive hits. Pay attention to them. Pay attention to your body because it speaks pretty loudly sometimes.
It does. It does. It gets louder the more you ignore it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nudge the knock and the rhino, right?
Uh-huh.
Go back to our episode with psychic coach Carly Ashworth if you want to know what those mean.
Oh my gosh, we've got a lot of episodes you need to go listen to.
But I know. We can actually do that now that it's been almost a year. Call back.
All right. Well, if you have any stories you want to share with us, please send them in to stories@trustyourselfpodcast.com or connect with us on Instagram or TikTok and send us a DM. We'd love to hear your stories.
Slide into them DMs. We're open.
Mm-hmm. Because Heidi and I love to believe the unbelievable. That was dumb. Ignore.
Can we keep this in, please?
All right. Now it's time for our tarot for the week. Heidi, what can we expect this week?
What can we expect this week? In the future, when you guys are listening to this.
Oh,
geez.
That was something important.
It was something important. We got Page of Shells, intuition and inspiration.
I love when that
Trust
happens.
your damn intuition, everybody. It has got a little tree frog on here too, which is just super cute. And it just reminds me of like taking those leaps of faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just very leapy. It also reminds me of when we were in Florida with our family and there was a tiny green tree frog inside the house. And Sissy's oldest daughter, Harriet, which is the most brave child in the world, was like, I'm going to capture it. And it goes to grab this frog and it jumps directly onto the middle of her face.
On her face.
And then screaming ensues, but also like tinkling laughter.
Yes.
Like, I'm pretty sure I peed my pants. It was hilarious, but it's just, I don't know. It's very playful to me.
Yes.
But it reminds me of intuition and just taking that leap of faith. And also the 9 of Shells came out, which is gratitude and fulfillment. and it's represented by a little penguin.
Mm.
So I think remembering that when you take these leaps of faith and when you get these nudges, we need to be grateful for them, and it will lead to our fulfillment.
Yeah.
That's what I'm picking up from this. So
Yeah.
take those leaps like the frog jumping onto my niece's face. That was the best.
Well, until next time, it's your move, sis.
Make it count.
Bye.